What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? A little sad news. So Nathaniel, he's a little sick today, so I'm not going to be doing that interview today. It's going to be coming out Friday instead. So there's that. So I wanted to follow up and give you guys something else for today. Um, I wanted to talk more about Rh negative blood. Okay, but before I do that, I wanted to share something with you. Now, Biogen IDEC, the pharmaceutical company from Cambridge, Massachusetts, are headquartered there. Um, that basically specialize in multiple sclerosis medication. They just had to pay $900 million because they were found bribing doctors. Period of time, I believe it was 2009 to 2014. Not only was I in Boston at that same time, but I was working there at the same time, and I had a horrible experience working there. In my fourth book, the name of the company, I'm not going to give anything away, but the name of the company that does the evil thing is called Bionic Edge, which is an anagram for Biogen IDEC. Okay, so there's that. Okay, book 4 also predicted a problem with the global flu vaccine. Okay, I've also predicted the Georgia Guidestone issue in my book. Pyramids are energy devices. The truth about the Queen. Salman Rushdie being attacked. It's just endless. When you're plugged in and you're tuned in, you never really know how things are going to work out. But for anybody interested, please get the book series. If you reach out to me at Into the Rabbit Hole series at gmail.com, if you reach out to me, if you can't afford the full signed set, what I do also do is I have digitals. If you read on a tablet or your phone, that I sell for much cheaper. And the beauty about it is they're unlocked. So once you buy a set of those, you can share them with as many people as you want. And I'm kind of hoping this goes viral. So I just wanted to throw that out there. But let's talk about Rh negative. Okay, so what is Rh? It's an inherited protein that's found on the surface of a cell. Okay, that's what it basically is. Now, when they do tests for it, if that protein is found, you're Rh positive. If it's not, you're Rh negative. 15% of the people in the world, especially in the United States, are Rh negative, while the other 85% are Rh positive. We still don't know where it comes from. There's some thoughts that say that it was an evolved form to help fight toxoplasmosis. I can get into that later, but toxoplasmosis, which I also talk about in my fourth book, affects so many people. Okay, so many people. For example, what it'll do is it makes you take risks. See, there was a study that was done with toxoplasmosis. They had these rats. Okay, I'm going a little off script right now, but there are these rats, and what they did with them is they infected them with toxoplasmosis. And when they did that, they found that they were not fearful of cat urine. See, cat urine, when cats spray to mark their territories, rats would smell it and they'd run away in fear. These rats wouldn't. Okay, so they ended up getting killed. But people who have toxoplasmosis in their brain, they tend to more often than not be adventurous, risk takers. People live with them. The time when it becomes a problem is for people who have immunocompromised, for example, HIV. Most of the time, when they do a CT scan of the brain, or when they scan the brain, and they see toxoplasmosis in the brain, that's almost a surefire sign that you have full-blown AIDS. That's one of the markers. It's not the only one, but that's one of the markers. But anyway, back to it. So 15% of the population is Rh negative. Now, I'm going to apologize. I know I have a lot of women listeners, okay? And this is going to be hard to say. But I want you to know is that anybody that's gone through this has my full sympathies. And I'm just looking to educate people about this, okay? It's very important that you understand what I'm about to tell you. Now, I know I have a lot of older females, so this will be in hindsight. But for you younger girls or you younger women who are looking to have kids, I want you to be aware of something, okay? So what happens is, I'm I'm sorry, this is just difficult. So early in pregnancy, okay, your blood, when you first go to your prenatal appointment, okay, when you find you're pregnant, okay, your blood gets tested. You get a CBC done, which is a complete blood panel, complete blood count. Okay, it tests your Rh status. Okay, test for sickle cell. That usually affects the Black community more. Dyslipidemia, Hep B, syphilis, HIV. It tests for all that stuff. Downs, Edwards syndrome, which Edwards syndrome I talk about in one of my books. I can't remember which one. I think it was the second one. Peteus syndrome. It's on the first prenatal visit. Okay, but here's the thing. Here's what you don't understand. They test the women for the Rh factor, for the Rh negative factor. Okay, and if you're Rh negative, they treat you. Okay, what they treat you with is something called RhoGAM. Okay, which is antibodies from a plasma donor. Okay, and I'm going to explain to you what it basically means. 15% of the population are Rh negative. 85% are Rh positive. Okay, if you have and it doesn't matter what the partner is, but if you have one Rh negative and one Rh positive, the mother's body will reject the baby and you will have a miscarriage. Okay. Now, sometimes a pregnancy can go full term and sneak through. Sometimes a pregnancy can go full term and sneak through, but the risk of miscarriage, if undiagnosed, is so significantly higher for the second child that most don't even have a second child. They go through their life wondering why they could only have one child. Okay. Now, 15% have this missing factor. Okay. That means 1 out of every 6.66666 people have this factor. Okay. That's significant. That's a significant amount. Okay. They test women for this, but here's the caveat. They never test the man for it. So what happens is you have women who, and it's very easy to find out if you're positive or negative. You can donate blood and then your blood donor card shows it. You can go in and get a blood test. Okay. But you don't think about this. A lot of times what happens is you have partners, one positive, one negative. And what they do is they try and have a baby and the woman miscarries. Okay. Fights have happened between couples because women kept losing babies and they think it's their fault. Okay. There's a small but significant portion of people who are not treated for rhesus negative and rhesus positive mixing. Okay. Like I said, it's called RhoGAM, RHOGAM. Okay. It's a shot that a woman gets. Okay. And it allows for the pregnancy to go through. And like I mentioned, the woman is always tested for it in prenatal work. But doctors do not test the men. Okay. A significant amount of miscarriages have happened because the woman's body rejects it. Because the only crime was one was rhesus negative, one was rhesus positive. Okay. I don't mean to bring up such a negative connotation for women. At the same time, I am aware that this is going to have a lot of you women questioning your past and what happened. And like I always say, I would rather know than not know. Okay. If you're thinking of getting married, or if you're thinking of engaging in, if you have a boyfriend or a girlfriend, whatever, and you're with them for a long time or for a little bit of time, when you get sexually active, okay, if you're pro-life, or for example, if you're thinking of having kids with them or whatever, okay, both of you get tested. Okay. Donate blood. That's the quickest and easiest way. You'll get some cookies and some juice out of it. Okay. And you'll really help out, especially rhesus negative blood, because rhesus negative blood is hard to come by. I'm A negative. Okay. So, like I said, the problem is they don't test men for this. You can imagine how many miscarriages, women that have 4, 5, 6 because of this, and thinking that their body couldn't handle a pregnancy and then it deflating them and depressing them. But no one's talking about this issue. Okay. So please for the love of God, if you're going to be sexually intimate with someone or you're looking to start a family, both of you get tested. Donate blood, you'll get a blood donor card. Okay. Then if one is negative and one is positive, the woman would just take a shot of Rogaine and that would be it. Okay. It's that simple. Okay. These are antibodies from plasma donors. Okay. That's what you need. Because what happens is the woman's body reviews the child, the budding child, as a foreign entity in their body, and their immune system attacks it. Okay, so again, I don't mean to bring up such a sensitive topic, but at the same time, if this video can get around and people could begin to understand that, and they could start getting at peace with a very difficult thing that happened in their life, that could potentially be something that was out of their control from the get-go. Okay, because when did they first start doing I mean, it's when you find out you're pregnant, basically. You know, some women go a month or two without figuring it out. So typically 14 to 20 weeks, that's when you go in. Okay. And at that point, the body probably could have already rejected it. Okay. So by the time you go into the doctor, okay, your body's already rejected the baby. Please share this with people and make sure that you know this. Okay. It is not a super significant thing. It's 15%, but that's basically 1 out of 6, 7 people, okay, that has this. Please be safe. I'll talk to you guys soon.